Coming up on WUFT's First at 5, new reports show the total cost of damage from Hurricane Helene. We'll break down the details and what this means for North Central Florida residents.
Plus, record-breaking travel numbers just over a week from Thanksgiving. What you need to know to stay safe before you go.
And a cold front sweeping its way across North Central Florida. Our UF weather team is tracking this drop in temperatures. First at 5 starts now.
First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Get ready to feel some of the coldest air of the season. It comes after this round of storms and is set to move through starting tonight.
Man, I'm from Chicago, but I still can't get used to cold weather. I'm Roches. Welcome to First at 5.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Juan Chaoui, and Mar, don't worry, you're not alone. I've lived in Florida all my life. Still not used to it. But anyways, it's been a mild day so far, starting with sunshine, but clouds have been moving in this afternoon. That's why we have UF forecaster Matthew Clark live in the studio tracking the latest cold front. Matthew, it's only going to get colder as the week goes on.
Yeah, those cold temperatures that we felt this morning were from the cold front last weekend, if you remember that. But this weekend, we're going to get another cold front. Actually, tonight, we're going to get that cold front. We're going to get those really cold temperatures, though, as we head into this weekend. All right, now, it's just a sea of gray out there, pretty much just blanketed skies. That cold front is going to move its way through. Very large squall line moving its way through North Panhandle right now. That squall line is going to start to move its way towards us around midnight. It's going to gain strength and move its way towards us. Start to see some rain around midnight. Most of us are going to be asleep at this time, but if you are out and about, expect some rain around midnight. That rain is going to start to clear up Wednesday morning before the clouds and whatnot starts to drift its way away, and then that really cold air behind that cold front is what we're going to start to feel. Not going to get too much cold air though tonight. Temperature is going to be in the 60s. Rain chance is going to increase tonight. I'll have how cold those temperatures are going to get in a few minutes.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in losses. That's the forecast the damage Hurricane Helene left behind on Florida's agriculture industry. As Bianca Smith reports, UF's Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences said Helene was not the only factor in the losses.
That's right. This preliminary report estimates a loss between $40.3 million and $162 million. Between September 25th and October 2nd, the Big Bend of Florida had 15 feet of storm surge. There were damages to over 6.1 million acres of agricultural land, most of it being grazing land for animals. Over 20,000 acres experienced high-intensity weather conditions. Most of the damages reported happened to agricultural houses, livestock sheds, irrigation systems, and greenhouses. Between Helene and Debbie, there was more than $350 million in damages. As hurricanes become more frequent and stronger, Professor of Economic Impacts at UF, Krista Court, says it's important for farmers to start thinking about preparing early.
It's a lot of different ways that you need to implement recovery across the different commodity groups. So we need to continue to have conversations to ensure that long-term recovery can happen.
Recovery time is different for each crop. Farmers with fast-growing crops can recover faster than those who have things like trees and have to start over. Survey reports on Hurricane Milton are expected to come out 1 week after Thanksgiving. Reporting live in studio, Bianca Smith, WUFT News.
Deputies in Marion County believe there could be more victims after arresting a man they say touched a child inappropriately. On Monday, investigators arrested 23-year-old Jason Mina for lewd and lascivious behavior. They were alerted about the case due to a DCF report from the victim under the age of 12 years old. Detectives had been searching for Mina since the report was filed back in August. During questioning, deputies say Mina admitted to the abuse. They believe because he worked around children full-time at the Rockin' F Ranch in Ocala, there may be more victims.
Several local police departments are set to welcome in their new leaders. Later this week, Gainesville Police Chief Nelson Moya will be officially sworn in during a city commission meeting. We told you back in September when he was tapped to lead the department. Chief Moya's career in law enforcement spans more than 30 years. Their ceremony is scheduled for Thursday at 5:30 p.m. The University of Florida has named Bart Knowles the chief of the UF Police Department. Knowles has a long history in law enforcement, having joined GPD back in 1991. During his tenure, he served in various areas, including Uniform Patrol, Special Operations, Vice, State Attorney's Task Force, DEA Task Force, and Human Resources. Knowles will serve as police chief effective immediately.
Alachua County Public Schools is set to swear in new members of their board. The ceremony is one of 2 meetings scheduled for tonight. The first meeting is the annual organizational meeting of the school board. Following that, there will be a second meeting where they will discuss the Alachua County School Board Leasing Corporation. The meeting will take place in the district office boardroom. Marion County also had members take their oaths of office this morning. District 1's Dr. Allison Campbell swore in for her second 4-year term. Alongside her, District 2's Lori Conrad was sworn in for her first 4-year term. She served a 2-year special term beforehand. And now Thanksgiving travel can be stressful with crowded terminals and long lines. But for those who plan ahead, the journey can be a lot smoother.
WUFT's Sarah Howard joins us live from Gainesville Regional Airport to tell us how a traveler she met is navigating the holiday rush.
Things are surprisingly calm here at Gainesville Regional Airport, but that's all expected to change as we approach Thanksgiving. Airport officials say they intend to see some much bigger crowds, but one traveler I spoke with says she's mastered staying calm during the hectic travel season. The Thanksgiving rush is 1 week away. Airports are buzzing with travelers eager to reunite with loved ones. For one flyer, traveling during this time of year can be stressful. Gail Camaro will fly home to Baltimore for Thanksgiving. She is one traveler who decided not to have an irritating travel experience because of the holiday rush.
Definitely more of a mental challenge just because it's more frustrating because of how long it takes things to get done and how overwhelming the crowds could be.
To avoid the challenges, Gail planned ahead, packed smart, and gave herself plenty of time. That's why she's here ahead of the lines.
You never know what kind of lines or troubles you run into. You never know what kind of security checks there will be.
Adopting strategies like hers may help other flyers prevent holiday stress. Gainesville Regional Airport Manager of Public Relations Aaron Porter wants people to remember to get to the airport early.
Just know that flights get delayed, things happen, weather happens.
Porter says nearly 80 million Americans are expected to travel over Thanksgiving. That's why airport officials want to remind you to pack your patience and be prepared. Airport officials recommend getting to the airport about 2 hours ahead of time for a domestic flight or 3 hours if it's international. That's to give you some buffer time in case anything was to go unaccording to plan. Live from Gainesville Regional Airport, Sarah Howard, WUFT News.
North Central Florida cities are preparing their holiday events. The city of Alachua has planned their tree lighting ceremony for Friday, December 6th. There will be opportunities to take pictures with Santa, training carriage rides, bounce houses, a snow play area, and much more. The event starts at 4:30 p.m. on Main Street. Farm Share, Florida's leading nonprofit food bank, will be distributing food to those in need this week in the Gainesville area. There will be 2 events taking place Thursday and Friday, one in each respective location. Both serve as an opportunity for food insecure Floridians to receive fresh produce and canned goods prior to the holidays. Here are the locations and times of the events taking place this week. More information on Farm Share food pantries can be found on the company website.
A 200-acre family property in Union County was recently protected by the Florida Department of Environment Protection and facilitated by the Alachua County Trust. The 2 organizations worked together to assist the family to sell the conservation easement. The conservation easement was acquired through Florida Forever, the state's land acquisition program. Protection of this property expands existing conservation lands around Rayford and contributes to the protection of the Ocala-Osceola corridor. Coming up on First at 5, the latest in Trump's transition to the White House, the allegations one of his cabinet picks is facing.
Plus, giving back to those who serve, how one North Central Florida organization is stepping up for the veterans ahead of the holiday season.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. The Manhattan District Attorney says the judge on the New York hush money case can hold off on sentencing President-elect Trump, pending the resolution of other legal challenges. And we're learning more about the allegations of sexual misconduct and drug use against Matt Gaetz, Trump's controversial pick for Attorney General. As Alice Barr reports, Gaetz denies all allegations.
Faced with the unprecedented entangling of President-elect Trump's legal and political lives, prosecutors today saying his sentencing in the New York hush money trial should be postponed, while the Trump legal team seeks to have the case dismissed based on the Supreme Court's ruling on presidential immunity and his impending return to the White House. Manhattan prosecutors underscoring that a jury already convicted the president-elect of falsifying business records to cover up up an alleged sex scandal.
We didn't do a thing wrong.
Signaling they would fight any effort to throw out the conviction. Still, a Trump spokesman calling this a total and definitive victory for President Trump and the American people who elected him in a landslide. It comes amid an intensifying spotlight on the president-elect's pick to lead the Department of Justice, Matt Gaetz, who resigned from the House last week, halting a House Ethics Committee investigation into allegations Gaetz fiercely denies of drug use and sexual misconduct. NBC News spoke with the attorney for a woman who he says testified before the committee that she witnessed Gaetz having sex with a 17-year-old girl at a party in 2017.
She testified that her belief was that Representative Gaetz had no knowledge that she was under 18.
The House Ethics Committee set to meet tomorrow on whether to hand over its report on a now former member to senators tasked with deciding whether Gaetz should be confirmed for Attorney General.
There needs to be legitimate vetting. When I say legitimate, I mean just thorough vetting that the committees do. This is our job. This is the role of advice and consent.
The Justice Department ultimately chose not to charge Gaetz, and his spokesperson calls the allegations baseless and intended to derail the second Trump administration. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
State Senator Ben Albritton began a 2-year term as Florida Senate President today. Albritton says he will hold the insurance industry accountable and try to lead a rural renaissance. He represents District 27, which covers Polk Hardy and DeSoto counties. As a citrus grower, he pointed to damage caused by a series of hurricanes, including Hurricanes Milton, Helene, and Debbie this year. He also alluded to changes that lawmakers have made in recent years to help shore up the property and insurance industry.
Floridians have been paying faithfully their insurance premiums for years, sometimes decades. And now they expect their insurance company to keep up its end of the bargain.
Senate Democrats formally selected Senator Jason Pizzo to serve as minority leader. His district encompasses parts of Broward and Miami-Dade counties. He expects the legislature to focus on bipartisan issues that affect most Floridians.
Just hours ago, Florida Elections Canvassing Commission CFO Jimmy Patronis certified the results of the 2024 general election. This includes President-elect Donald Trump's victory in the state. In a statement, Patronis says this comes at a time when transparency and efficiency in elections are more critical than ever.
Florida Center is giving back to those who have served by providing resources to the community. The Veterans Affairs Hospital in Gainesville hosts health fairs to provide helpful information for veteran families. Organized to honor and support veterans and their caregivers, the event features a variety of resources. Visitors can obtain information on wellness programs, suicide prevention, and general health care services.
With everybody supporting our veteran population, new veterans, veterans that have been veterans for a long time, aging seniors, everybody in that population, just to have a better toolbox.
The health fair serves as a reminder of the community's commitment to those who have sacrificed so much. VA events like this allow for both veterans and their families to feel seen and supported.
A cold front moving its way through the southeast is going to bring us some storms tonight and some chilly temperatures following this weekend. I'll have that and more after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
It's a much different scene out there right now. As when we woke up this morning, there were crystal clear blue skies, the sun is out, and now there's just a sea of gray overlooking our campus cam. It's kind of depressing out there right now, almost looks like the Pacific Northwest, but this is because of this cold front that's going to start to impact us later tonight. Now the cold front right now is moving its way through Tallahassee, this large squall line, a lot of extra moisture being brought up from the Gulf of Mexico, pretty much the remnants of Tropical Storm Sarah. So thankfully Sarah never became anything, but we are going to get some rain and some moisture from her. Flash flood risk, slight risk in the panhandle from Port St. Joe all the way over to the Gulf shores. Nothing too much of a concern for us, but you just saw on that radar how much rain is being dumped on that area right now as the squall line is moving its way through Tallahassee right now. And right now around 5:30 it's going to start to move its way towards us. So notice the time, Wednesday around midnight. Most of us are going to be inside. Most of us are going to be asleep by this point. But if you are out and about, you could see some storms around town. It could wake you up. Some thunder could be possible. Waking up in the morning, a couple lingering showers are going to be possible from this squall line. But as we head into the later part of the day, those clouds are going to start to clear, leaving us with a nice Wednesday night. But we're not going to get too much cold temperatures quite yet. Right now, temperatures 78 degrees in Ocala, 75 in Gainesville, and 74 in Stark. Not going to get too much of a decrease as we head into tonight, dropping into the 60s, but those rain chances are going to increase dramatically as we head into midnight because of that cold front, that squall line. Pretty simple to time out because that squall line is just going to start to move its way through. And look at this, the dew point, muggy meter, look, it's like a roller coaster. It rises up to 69, then just drops off into the 30s. It's going to be beautiful. Normally we're in the 70s in the summer, so it's going to basically be cut in half. Now the 3-day outlook, so tomorrow high is going to be around 80. Thursday though, this is when the fall is finally here. 65 is our high on Thursday, sunny skies. Friday, it's going to be pretty much cold. 66 as our high and lows in the 40s. So Thursday morning, those temperatures are going to be in the 40s. That cold air is going to creep down. 49 in Gainesville, 47 in Stark. That's when we're really going to start to get that cold air. Now this weekend, we had a beautiful game in the swamp last weekend. It's going to be even more beautiful this weekend for a noon game. Noon kickoff, temperature 60 degrees. That's pretty chilly, but the sun will be out, so that will be keeping us warm. And around 3 o'clock after the game, it's going to be 63 degrees. Pretty much our high is going to be around 65. It's going to be beautiful. Rest of the weekend, though, those temperatures are going to remain pretty much under 70. It's going to be a beautiful weekend to get out and about, and you just see that drop in temperatures. Saturday low as a 40, and the rest of the week we're going to start to heat up as we head into Sunday and Monday, but cold temperatures coming ahead.
Coming up in sports, a local high school football coach has stepped down after a successful career. Plus, Gator men's basketball is looking to go 5-0 for the first time in 3 years. We'll have that and more after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Scarlett Cooney. We're starting just down the road at the O'Connell Center. The number 21 Gator men's basketball team is set to take the court tonight against Florida A&M at 7. 4-0 Florida, who fell one spot in the Associated Press poll, is coming off an 87-74 win at rival Florida State on Friday. Ball security will likely be a focus for tonight's matchup after a season-worst 19 turnovers resulted in 16 points for FSU. The Gators are now looking to go 5-0 for the first time in the Todd Golden era against an 0-3 Rattlers team. Staying on the court, Gator volleyball returns tomorrow as they travel to Auburn to take on the Tigers. The Gators climbed one spot to number 20 in the latest coaches poll after defeating number 25 Missouri 3-2 on the road. Friday's comeback win snapped Missouri's 9-match win streak and extended Florida's to 8. All-American Kennedy Martin recorded the most kills by a Florida Gator in a single match with 32, resulting in her 5th consecutive SEC Weekly Award. Moving to the turf, Gator football is getting ready for Senior Day in its last home game of the season against Ole Miss on Saturday. Florida's huge home upset win over then number 21 LSU is making a buzz in the recruiting world. In the last 48 hours, Florida has flipped 3 recruits in the 2025 class, 2 from FSU, Trammell Jones and Daniel Pierre-Louis, and 1 from Georgia, Stephon Shivers. The Gators' recruiting moves saw them jump 16 spots to number 28 in the 24/7 Sports 2025 recruiting rankings. In high school football, Trinity Catholic head coach John Brantley announced Sunday that he's stepping down. WUFT's Jack Meyer is live in the studio with more on his Celtics career.
After over 2 decades on the sideline and 12 seasons at the helm as head coach, the John Brantley era has officially come to an end at Trinity Catholic High School. The longtime Celtics head coach's departure was announced this past Sunday, 2 days after Trinity Catholic was eliminated in the Class 1A regional quarterfinals. In a press release announcing his departure, the school called Brantley one of Florida's most accomplished high school coaches, while noting how he led the program to unparalleled success. In his 12 seasons as head coach, Brantley led Trinity Catholic to a 98-45 overall record, as well as an undefeated district record of 27-0. Under Brantley, the Celtics won 10 district championships, 5 regional championships, and 2 state championships. The program also produced over 70 players that went on to play at the collegiate level in this span. Brantley has said it has been a privilege to be a part of Trinity Catholic since 2003, calling it the best coaching job in the state of Florida. Reporting live from the newsroom, Jack Meyer, WUFT Sports.
Up to the pros, it's a busy night for Florida hockey as the Lightning and the Panthers will both take to the ice. The Florida Panthers are on the road in Canada to take on the Winnipeg Jets in the second of a 2-game series. The Panthers shut out the Jets 5-0 at home on Saturday, featuring goals from 5 different players. Back in the States, the Tampa Bay Lightning are also on the road in Pittsburgh tonight. The Lightning have won 2 straight, most recently a 4-0 defeat of the New Jersey Devils on Saturday.
Finally, former Gator national champion and NFL safety Major Wright has been named the honorary Mr. Two Bits for Florida's Ole Miss matchup.
You know, Scarlett, I gotta say, no matter who they pick to do the Two Bits tradition, it is always a pleasure. They're always hyped, they're always excited, and it gets me excited. I really do love the traditions that we have at the Florida football games.
Right, and that's why I decided to come from out of state. I love a big SEC school with a bunch of traditions. It's just so much fun.
Well, we have to know what the conditions are going to be like for Saturday's game. Matthew, can you give us one last check on the weather?
Yeah, of course. I mean, last Saturday it was beautiful in the swamp with highs in the 70s, but this Saturday you can see the highs 62 degrees, the low is 40, so if you're waking up early in the morning to tailgate, it's going to be pretty cold, so it may not hurt to have a jacket. It's going to quickly warm up into the 60s though. Sun's going to keep us warm-ish. I mean, 62 is pretty cold this weekend. Looking forward to it. A cold front moving through tonight, and then as we head to the rest of the week, those temperatures are going to start to rise.
Thanks for joining us. We're back here tomorrow for another edition of First at 5.
But your North Central Florida news is always on WUFT.org and on all our social media platforms. Have a great night.